Welcome to Honey's Kitchen. We're making French onion casserole. All right, I got my handy dandy cast iron skillet heating up. I'm gonna add a little olive oil, some onions. This is just one small onion or medium kind of onion that I've got diced up. I'm gonna put this in here, get it sauteed a little bit where it's a little soft, and then we're gonna add 1 pound of ground beef. Whoops, runaway onion. These have cooked a few minutes, gotten a little soft. So let's add our meat. One thing about a cast iron skillet, you can't just grab the handle. Well, I mean, you can, but you will regret it. But I love using my cast iron. For one, it doesn't, I mean, they've been around forever and it doesn't have forever chemicals. I actually went through several years ago, went through my cookware and started throwing away stuff that was not cast iron. My husband actually has a hobby of restoring cast iron skillets also. So he'll get on these auctions, different places like in the Midwest, and you'll find some really good finds that these pans are 100 and something years old. And then he has an electrolysis tank that he likes to put them in if they're really damaged, and he'll restore them, and they work amazing. You can't get them as good as what they were made 100 years ago either. I'm going to let this go for a few more minutes. I like my steak a little medium, but not hamburger meat. I want my hamburger meat well done. Our hamburger meat mixture with that and onions is browned now, so I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper, about a half a teaspoon of both. Not a ton because I'm going to use a packet of Lipton onion soup mix, and it can sometimes be a little on the salty side. So half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. Give it a stir. And then this Lipton beefy onion soup mix. We'll just use 1 packet of it. Yet again, almost grabbed my pan. All right, let's leave this and go to my bar so we can get our casserole dish ready. I got a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish, 2 cups of uncooked instant white rice. I'm going to spray my pan first. Almost messed up. Okay. Add my rice to the bottom. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. Then I'm going to pour my beefy mixture on top. So spreading this on here, get all the goodness of the onions off. And I like to use this Kettle and Fire bone broth. To me, this just has so much depth in the flavor. It's so much better than just using like a can of beef broth or chicken broth. But I will have to tell you, this says squeeze the corners together and then tear along the dotted line. That is not possible. I have tried it and made a ginormous mess in my kitchen. I might make one this time, but I've got handy dandy scissors that we're going to try. Okay. We're going to pour this over the top. This is around 2 cups. I did not measure it out, but it's around 2 cups. So I'm going to cover this, put it in my oven, bake it for 40 minutes. We'll come back with some sides. We're going to have some steamed broccoli with this recipe. I like to use my kitchen shears. It seems to go pretty quickly. So I just cut this off and whoops. Like I said, we don't have a 5-second rule in this house, so that will go in the trash. See how fast that was? It's just me and my 2 girls tonight, so we don't have to have a ton of food. Honestly, my 7-year-old is not going to touch this broccoli. She'll say she likes broccoli. She don't. I'm going to put some water, a little bit of salt, and some white vinegar and let my broccoli soak. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I don't like eating bugs. My favorite restaurant happened to be a Japanese restaurant. We would go there for every favorite thing, like Mother's Day. That would be the restaurant that I would choose. And one time we went for Mother's Day. I got my normal little meal that I always get, and I had leftovers, of course, because they give you a ton. So the next day I was warming up my leftovers, and I looked really, really close on one of my broccoli, and there was a larva on there. A larva of some sort. I don't know what kind it was. I thought maybe that's a piece of rice. I had my husband come look at it. He said, no, that's some type of maggot or something. I was mortified. All I could think about was on The Lion King when Timon and Pumbaa are talking to Simba and talking about the slimy goodness of the bugs or the squishiness with the cream inside. That is literally what I was thinking. And like I said, was mortified. I did not eat at that restaurant for years. I have since then. I forgave them. But I make sure to wash my veggies really good. So we're going to do that now while we're waiting on our stuff to cook. So we had our broccoli soaking for a while in that vinegar and salt water mixture. I'm going to pull this up and we're just going to see how dirty this is. I like using my salad spinner for anything. I mean, for fruits also, because it's just really easy to soak them and then pick them up, drain this other water off, and then still spin it to get all the water off. We won't have to do that with this because we're going to put them in a steamer basket. But I don't know if you guys can see how gross this water is. But I mean, there are some pieces of the broccoli floating in here, but there's also some black stuff floating in here. There is no telling, and I'm sure there's some type of critters that we would have eaten. So make sure to soak and rinse your broccoli. I had almost forgotten to shred my cheese. I have a 16-ounce of mozzarella cheese. And y'all, I do not buy shredded cheese in the grocery store. And the reason is it has cellulose in it, which is, I think they said sawdust. And that is put in there to prevent it from sticking together. I'm not eating that. I'm not feeding my family sawdust. So I have 2 mixers, but this is my smaller mixer. And I bought this little attachment to it that goes to the front, and it is a shredder. So I use it for cheese. You could use it for any kind of vegetables that you want, but I actually use it for cheese. In just a couple of minutes, we've got 16 ounces of shredded cheese without a side of sawdust. Just got our casserole out of the oven. Let's take a look. see what it looks like. All right, we're going to do about a cup of sour cream on the top of this. And glad my husband does not have TikTok because, but he's not here tonight anyway, but he does not eat sour cream. He says he don't eat anything white nasty or green slimy. So like he doesn't eat ranch dressing. He doesn't eat sour cream. He sometimes eats cream cheese if it's hidden in something. But what he don't know won't hurt him. So I hope he doesn't ever get TikTok, because if he does, I'm going to be in trouble, because then he's going to see what I actually put in the food that he eats. He did tell me, however, that if he got TikTok, and because I'll do this thing where I might try a recipe if it wasn't just like amazing. Like I have to weigh the options. Was it good? Was it fairly easy? If it dirtied up everything in my kitchen that I had to clean up, like every dish that I owned was dirty, it had to be amazing for me to make it again. So there's been times that I have made stuff that everyone loves, and I might have liked it, but it was not worth either the cooking all day, or it was not worth how much I had to clean up afterward. I would throw that in the trash and never make it again. And he would be like, hey, what happened? Why do we not have this other thing? Like we literally loved it and you never made it again. And I'm like, well, because I'm not ever making again. It dirtied up everything in my kitchen, or it took all day and it wasn't as good as to make up for that. He said, if you do that, we are going to have a record of what you make. And if we like it and you never make it again, I'm going to get on there and give you a bad review. And if you know my husband, he's kind of funny like that, but I wouldn't put it past him. He probably would. All right, so 1 cup of sour cream that I've kind of smeared on the top. This looks like an awful lot of cheese. We'll see once I start spreading this out. We might not use all of this. Yeah, we're not using all of this. This is a ridiculous amount of cheese. You can, if you want, and you like it and you want to add more cheese, you do whatever you like. You can do whatever you like. Okay. So French fried onions. Just kind of sprinkle this on top. This is like literally a whole onion. We're going to put that back in there. Somebody might want to snack on that. Well, it's meant to be there. I'm going to eat it. Okay. I'm going to put this full back on it so we can let the cheese melt. I might have to put it back in the oven. We'll just kind of see what it looks like after a few minutes. But I want my cheese melted. I did end up putting it back in the oven for a few minutes just because I was impatient and it was taking forever to melt with just the heat that was inside here and using the aluminum foil. So I did put it back in the oven for a few minutes. I mean, it was pretty quick to bake. This is probably going to burn the hair off my tongue. Very good. Very good. Definitely be making it again. Okay. So, who's stopping by to taste and clean up my kitchen? Thanks for stopping by Honey's Kitchen.